coming on to hang out for a few minutes. Hey, Jackie. Hi, Rhonda. How are you guys? Nice. Where are you going to medical school? Moonshiner, good to see you tonight. Raptor Dan. Hey, Jeanette. NSU Nova. Is that in Florida? Like, oh my gosh. I don't know. I just walked in the door. Okay. So I think that one of my friend's daughters went there for the pre-veterinary medicine program. It looks like it's the Steelers-Browns game. I don't know what the score is.
14-13.
14-13 Steelers. So if you're a Steelers fan, you're probably happy. Who do I want to... I didn't even know the game was on until I walked in the door. I don't care who wins the game. Do you have anyone playing in this fantasy football-wise? Okay, so apparently we want Pittsburgh to win because that's my husband's defense on his fantasy football team. So if you're a Browns fan, I apologize. I don't watch football really. He does though. Turn some lights off. There aren't very many lights on. Christina, I mean, everyone needs to know what they need to know, right? What if Jen is in a place where, or Kenneth is in a place where they can't watch the game? You got to tell them, right? And sports for a lot of people is how they address their stress. And they get some irritation out, and that is good for their adrenal glands. So what can I say? The Steelers have the ball. Oh, it's halftime. That's a replay. I don't know what's happening. Hey, Sunseeker, how are you? It causes you stress. So I can no longer, I've been a Broncos fan since I can't even tell you when, like, I didn't live in Colorado when I started being a Broncos fan. I was a little girl. And I cannot watch the Broncos play without cussing at the television. So about the time the boys were 2, I stopped watching the Broncos play football because my children were picking up some very not great language. Someone's asking if I'm Hoagie. I don't know what 86753 is. Tom is asking, and hey Tom, how are you? And did you go to convention? Because holy smokes, the new products. Am I vegan? I am not vegan, for a multitude of reasons, but the biggest one being, I've tried it a couple of times, and I've needed a few blood transfusions trying to be vegan. And it's just not good for my body. My body doesn't do well with it. And so I don't do it. Thank you for clarifying, Eric. So I'm not vegan. Do I have a problem with people who are vegan? Strict vegan? Yes. And not that I have a problem with people. What I have a problem with is people who are strict vegan and never eat fish or eggs, things like that. We tend to see more hormone disruption in those people. And we tend to see more estrogen dominance. And so when we are seeing those people who are doing that particular lifestyle, we want to educate about the importance of essential fatty acids and where those come from, and that you cannot mimic an essential fatty acid with a vegetable protein or fat, unfortunately. And then even when we're looking at like what kind of proteins the body needs in a day and how much protein it needs, depending on what you're doing with your life, it's really hard to get enough protein in And we see a lot of very low birth weight babies who have intrauterine restriction born to mothers who are strict vegan and stay strict vegan throughout their entire pregnancy. So it's just one of those things that I have a problem with strict veganism. I have a girlfriend who's vegetarian. She was a strict vegan actually until she got pregnant. And we went for a swim one day and we're standing on the shoreline and she's like, I'm so struggling. And I said, what? What are you struggling with? You're swimming. You look great. You're swimming well. You've stopped running, but you're still on your bike. Like, what's wrong? And she's like, I'm craving meat. Like, I walk into a restaurant and I don't want to order the stuff I normally order anymore. All I want to order is a juicy steak. And I'm like, yeah, that's not you. That's the baby. The baby needs it. So you need to do it. So I think it's one of those things where sometimes we get into more of the dogma of a reasoning than we do understanding all of the implications for our health. And that can be a problem. Hey there, NK. How are you? And I had somebody, I posted my meal for lunch. I think it was my meal for lunch yesterday, where it was 7.5 ounces of salmon, some peas and carrots. And then I also had 2.5 cups of broccoli. And somebody posted on the post, oh, you can't eat carrots. They're acidic. And my response to them was, okay, then why is keto, which is an acidic diet, being pushed right now as the cure for specific types of cancer, including breast cancer? And he's like, oh, it's not. You need to be alkaline in order to kill cancer. But if you look at what's happening right now and you look at, there's actually a guy on TikTok who has a ton of research. His clients, instead of doing chemo, are doing keto and beating cancer all naturally. But that's putting the body in an acidic state. So if the alkaline diet is the way to go, how is keto working for cancer? William, I'm glad it's working for you. That's not to say that it doesn't work for everyone. There's a book called Eat for Your Blood Type. When I read that book, I don't fit the blood type that should be vegan either. So I think when we consider those things as well, like that's the other thing is you have to remember that not everything will work for everybody. And in the history of our world, there has never been a society that has been completely vegan top to bottom, ever. Jen, and I'm sure that keto for your diabetes is helping a ton. JMPV is asking, how do I heal plantar fasciitis? I want to know which foot it is. Thank you, King. PA student. Hi, Haley. How far along are you? Too much processed carbs and can cause diabetes and high cholesterol. I absolutely agree with that. JMPV, you need to do a liver and a gallbladder flush. And the book is based on some erroneous information, but then if you go look like up specific research, you can actually have, you can find research to back up the book. 11 more months. Yay! That's awesome. Where do you want to go into practice? Like, what do you want to do? Family medicine? Do you want to do internal med? Do you want to do GI? What do you want to do? Yeah, I'm a blood type O and crave protein like crazy too. And become extremely anemic when I try and go vegan. Woohoo! Quill's coming next Wednesday. And apparently someone's putting in comments that are inappropriate because TikTok is filtering them out, just so you know. It says some contents were filtered to protect the community experience. Good night. Sleep tight. Dr. Oz is paid to say a lot of what he says. And my favorite Dr. Oz episode ever is the one where he explains the rotator cuff. If you can find that and you know anything about a shoulder injury, you'll laugh through the whole thing and think he's a moron. Hey, Tim. Good night. It's almost my bedtime too. But seriously, message me if you haven't heard about the new products, because it's gonna be big. So Dr. Oz has this episode, and a client sent this to me years ago. It's old. It's probably 6 or 7 years old. He's talking about the rotator cuff and why it gets injured and when you might need surgery and that kind of stuff. And he has this skeleton, and he's taped literally from up here in the neck down underneath the shoulder blade and into the elbow. And it was like, the rotator cuff is all of this part. And I just couldn't. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I literally just started laughing and had to stop the clip for 5 minutes and then went back and watched it. And the information that he's giving in general is fair. It's not great. But it's also funny to me that we have medical professionals who don't even know where the rotator cuff is. Just funny. So, do I want a guy who gets paid basically to put stuff on his show telling me how to run my life? Probably not. Quill said that they registered for my class for next Wednesday. Just in case you didn't know, I am teaching a class on cardiometabolic health next week, and I'm just gonna log in real quick and see how full that class is. It's not, I just feel like if you're really, if you're gonna talk about something that a lot of people in the world know about, specifically the rotator cuff, you should probably know your anatomy before you get on national television and start teaching it. You'll gain a lot more respect from a lot more people. And he gives, again, good general information, but I'm not taking medical advice from somebody who was paid by a pharmaceutical company or someone else like that to put something on their show. Because then he's just like every other allopathic doctor out there that is pushing a medication for a disorder. I didn't see him as a Jeopardy host, but that doesn't really mean anything either. So there are 71 people registered for the class next Wednesday. And I'm limiting it to 100, just so you know. So you can only register to the first 100. Hey, Chuck, thanks for the follow. Lindsay, thanks for the follow. The class, so what is your metabolic health? Your metabolic health, a lot of people think of it as just being their metabolism and whether or not they can gain or lose weight. But it actually has a lot more to do with how your entire body is functioning together. It has to do with how well your cells produce energy for the system. It has to do with how well your body can cleanse itself out. And it has to do with how we age. Thanks, Chelsea, for the follow. So your cardiometabolic health specifically has to do with how well all of the systems work together, from the heart to the lungs, the digestive system, and then all of the cells in your body. And having good cardiometabolic health can actually improve the rate at which you age appearance-wise. So if you're looking, hey Steve, how are you? If you're looking for a way to kind of reverse the signs of aging, we're going to talk about that in this class. Christina, there's a link in my profile to register for the class, and it's actually, if you go to my profile by clicking on my picture, there's a thing there that says like email me, Q&A, and then HTTPS. If you click on that, hey Rachel, thanks for the follow. Thanks, Turtle. And if you click on that class, on that top link, it'll take you to a Zoom registration page, and you register there. Jason, why'd you go to the ER? Thanks for the follow, Turtle. So you can register for the class there. There are only 29 spots left. And I'm not going to spam you with email. I am going to try and get all of the emails from this thing prior to, and send you the worksheet for the class, so you can expect that email to come to you, and also the handouts for the class. So you'll get an email with 2 documents attached from me, but it won't. And they gave you a blood thinner? It won't be like I'm spamming you with emails. I just want to make sure you have the information that you might need to take the class. Wow, Francesca. Sorry, sweetie. There are a lot of links there, sorry. Pepsi Adventures, I guess you are responding to me. I was asking Jason a question. Pepsi, what was your question? Because I didn't see it. There's too many things coming through too fast. Right eye has been going blurry to black for 3 days. Jason, that has the eye issue, what's different in the last week? The class is free. So, Trendy Wendy, you're welcome to register for the class and come to the class. I also offer a free consultation. Those are also in my profile links. And again, S. Benkar, like that's something we would need to see what else is going on with you. So the free consultation would be a great way to start. If you want to come to the class next Wednesday, you can also register for that. So it's one of those things where like I want to help as best as I can. Quit drinking caffeine a week ago. Have you ever had migraines before, Jason? Yay! Thank you for your service, Trendy Wendy. Yeah, people ask lots of questions on here, which I think is good because sometimes some people have the same question and they're just too afraid to ask it. And so when somebody else asks the question, and unfortunately, Wendy, I don't think that's going to get much better with what we're seeing. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the ads trying to normalize heart attacks in 4 and 5-year-olds, but it's kind of disgusting. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the likes. It's so disgusting that they're trying to normalize anyone under the age of 30 having a heart attack. Oh, I will look up that. My season on the bench, Lisa Nelson. Okay. No migraines. Any Wendy from Fort Lauderdale. Awesome, Wendy. Jason, any history of seizures previously? And any recent viruses? Even if it was just a cold or like a sinus infection? And do you live in an area where it's moldy? How do we find the class? So the class, if you go to my picture profile links, my profile page, there's some links there. Like one is just to email me, one is to register, like one is a Q&A button, and then the other one is like an HTTPS button or link. You just click on that. The very top button is the button to register for the class. I think the third button, it's the one that bounces, is the one that is to register for the consultation. Hey, honey bands, how are you? Jason, have you traveled outside the US in the last 90 days? And Jason, any pain near that eye, like in this area or into your hairline here? Okay. It's been a decent day, North Star Angel. Thank you. I hope you've had a good one too. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, pain in the roof of the mouth too. I'm looking, I don't know what Trendy Wendy is looking for. I'm looking to see if you have non-visible shingles. It's blindness is a common thing with shingles. And some people will experience like irritation through that same side, but not have any visible sores. So that's what Wendy's looking for too. So the nerve that goes to the eye sits really close to the nerve that gives all of the sensation for this. And you can get it in the trigeminal nerve, and it does actually give some stuff, including visual stuff. Okay, right-sided head injury in 2015, great. But any irritation with any of that currently? Because you could have shingles. I am married, Robert. Yeah. Do you want to know what's bringing that on, Wendy? It's possible, Jason. It will create a swelling in the neck too. Yeah, on that same side. Jason, it doesn't matter that you're 50. Shingles can happen anytime after you have had, honey bands, why would you do that to yourself? Drink lots of water. Yeah, stress can cause it. Believe it or not, another virus can cause it, even if it's just the common cold or a sinus infection. Hormones can cause it. Another vaccine can cause it. I've seen that happen in quite a few people where they have like my kids just had the DTaP to go back to school, which is diphtheria, pertussis, whooping cough. So kids are getting it because they've had to have that shot to go back to either middle school or college, because they'd be redue for it at college age. So you're due for it at age 12, and then you be due for it again no less than 7 years later. And so 7 plus 12 is 19. So freshmen to sophomores in college are showing up with shingles because they've had the DTaP vaccine. So it's not just like, it's not a COVID vaccine. It could be a flu vaccine that causes it. Like, this isn't me picking on one vaccine. It's saying that anytime you have a vaccine, you are exposing yourself basically to the opportunity for your immune system to overreact. Because the idea of a vaccine is that it actually causes an immune reaction so that your body builds little antibodies to that virus and then can fight that virus if it notices it later. That's the purpose of a vaccine. I don't think it's hearsay though. I mean, like a virus, any virus that is a herpes-based virus. So herpes simplex, shingles, you can have a second outbreak of full-blown chickenpox if you get a vaccine. And any vaccine, like, it's not just, again, because it does cause an immune response, causes an immune reaction. And it's, yeah. So okay, Robert, you can think it's not true. And that, again, like your belief system on what happens. I mean, my kids just got a vaccine. I'm not anti-vax. I am make an educated medical decision for yourself. Does that make sense? Like, my kids just got the shot for the DTaP, diphtheria, pertussis, whooping cough. My kids just got vaccinated. So if you want to say it's not true, why do they tell you to look for a fever and a rash developing? They look for the fever because an immune response is triggered. So I'm sorry, Kim, that probably was your trigger. There was probably something else in your system, and the flu vaccine on top of it was just like straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. North Star Angel's asking if Dupixent creates an immune response. Dupixent is actually designed to stop your immune system from reacting to anything. Yeah. So, Kim, if you're reacting to vaccines that are for respiratory viruses, with shingles as the response, it may be a sign that your immune system cannot tolerate those types of vaccines, and you might want to reconsider getting them. For me, the flu shot causes blood clots, so I no longer get them. The last one I had was almost 13 years ago. So it's weird the way that your body reacts to things. And again, not everything is for everyone, right? Because we are all different biologically. We're all in different environments. So you're giving all of those. And it's not saying that you shouldn't give people a vaccine for something. It's that people need to be aware of how their system's reacting. So Kim has now had 2 reactions to a respiratory virus vaccine that resulted in the same thing. For me, that's a red flag. And Robert, you're one of the lucky ones. My mom, who has one of the worst immune systems that I know, like literally she gets everything. She's been boosted twice, maybe 3 times. No reactions at all. Not even soreness at her injection site. So I don't think vaccines are bad for everyone. I think that everyone needs to make an educated medical decision about whether or not that particular vaccine is appropriate for them. If I were Kim, I'd probably be getting the shingles vaccine because she's now had shingles twice in less than a year as a response to a respiratory virus vaccine, flu shot, and COVID. So that's not me saying you shouldn't get a vaccine. That's me saying you should make an educated medical decision for yourself, and that is your constitutional right. It's your 14th Amendment right, by the way, to make your own medical decisions. It's not a guarantee to healthcare. It's a guarantee to make your own medical decisions. And I don't know anything about that. Mr. Lobster, Mr. Sir Lobster. Yeah, Valtrex is used for shingles and herpes. It's a great antiviral. You can also take something like fulvic and humic acids. Those are really great for shingles and herpes. Trendy Wendy, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And that Mary L and Chick 1, I'm sorry if you don't agree with those points. We're all entitled, again, to our own opinions. Mine is based in what I'm seeing. And if you're having reactions to specific things, and by the way, I wasn't the person who saw that the flu shot caused me blood clots. It was a hematologist. I did not self-diagnose on that one. It was a hematologist, which is a person that studies the blood. And she was looking at it specifically because I, within 24 hours of having my last flu shot, almost miscarried and had a previous issue with a flu shot. So I'm a down the middle person. Yeah, Wendy, no joke, right? So, and Jean, again with MS, like your system kind of rocks the boat quite a few things, right? MS, we never know how it's going to react. So it's one of those things where, like, when's the last time you had any kind of vaccine and how did you react to it? And was your MS active at the time? I'm not allergic to eggs, Wendy. Isn't that interesting? I'm not allergic to eggs or chicken or gelatin. No. Yeah, I'm not allergic to any of that. My allergies are some weird ones. I have an anaphylactic reaction to spinach. I do have celiac. And then I have an allergy to vodka. Like some weird things, right? So, but not to the things that they say, like you shouldn't take this if you have an allergy to X, Y, and Z. Jason, if you have non-apparent shingles, you won't have a rash. And it's really people who have shingles that don't actually show up on the skin. It's really hard to diagnose them, but a blood thinner is not going to help. They would need to do a viral load test for herpes of any kind. And that would tell them whether or not your shingles virus is active. I don't turn red when I drink wine, any kind of wine. There is one brand of wine that I cannot drink, but only one, and it's one, so the Behringer line of wines, I can't drink any of their wines, but I do fine with other wine. So, Robert, I'm married. Your question's a little out of line. Just gonna say, and I don't give that many warnings, just so we're clear. Thanks, Joe. No, Jason, go to your primary care doc and ask them to run a viral load for herpes, specifically varicella. Because if they run it for varicella, which is the chickenpox herpes, they will find out if you have shingles. If they do, you can go on an antiviral and it will help more than the blood thinner that they gave you. So there's a question. So I had an issue with blood clots forming because of the flu shot. So I no longer get the flu shot. It was diagnosed by a hematologist and someone's telling me that I'm giving bad advice. So the question about allergies, if you're allergic to certain things, eggs, chicken, red wine, those kinds of things, you shouldn't take specific vaccines because they have those things in them. And it does say on their label, and you can go to the CDC's website and check out. So if you have a food allergy, go to the CDC's website if you're planning on getting a vaccine for anything. Like my kids just got the DPT shot, which is diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. Pertussis is whooping cough, just to simplify that. So on that thing, it says, do not take this vaccine if you're allergic to, and it lists off 11 ingredients. And they say, particularly eggs on that one. No problem, Harley. Somebody else asked a different question. I don't have a potassium or a vitamin K allergy, but my son does. Wheezy for money. I am happy at Tony Whiteside, just so I answer that question for you. But I don't think it has anything to do with looks. I think it has to do with my outlook on life. And Psychic Delight is saying there's a lot of stuff in the news lately about, take L-arginine to improve blood flow and nitric oxide and improve your erections, that kind of thing. But arginine does trigger shingles, herpes of all kinds, and other viruses, just so you know. So don't take L-arginine if you're above the age of 35. Do I know? It's been 13 years almost. Like literally it was March of 2010. March of 2010 was the last time I had a flu shot. So I don't get the flu shot anymore. It's not a big deal. I also haven't had the flu. Knock on wood. So it is, I mean, you have to, in this life, choose what the right things are for you. And you have to make sure that you're okay with the decisions that you make. And I mean, one example I can give you, one of my clients was diagnosed in July with breast cancer. It's a non-invasive form, it's slow growing, etc. And she told her surgeon and oncologist that she wanted a mastectomy. She just wanted the mastectomy. That's what her gut told her she needed to do. And instead they did the lumpectomy, and now it turns out that she needs the mastectomy. And so her decision in July was mastectomy, and somebody talked her out of it. And now she's disappointed because she has this vacation coming up, and now she has to wait until December to get the mastectomy. So I think sometimes we really, we don't stand up for ourselves and our own autonomous person and have the conversations that we need to have with our providers. Mary, L, and Chick. I am a doctor of physical therapy with a certificate in functional medicine. And sorry, I didn't see if you had asked that before. I apologize. I haven't had a vaccine in 13 years. Because right around this time, well, not 13, 12 years. So this is 22, right? Yes. So 12 years ago in September, I myself had the DPT shot and had an anaphylactic reaction to that. Broke out in a rash. So I think my body is trying to tell me not to do that stuff. And I'm trying to listen to it. And again, that's my decision. My children, when I had that reaction, were a couple weeks old, and they are still fully vaccinated. So again, I am not anti-vaccine. I am make the best medical decision for you. Because there are vaccines, measles, mumps, rubella, polio, that have literally saved lives. And you can't refute that data. You just can't. There are other things like the flu shot. It's called a shot because it's not truly a vaccine. Its purpose is to lessen symptom severity, not decrease your risk of contraction. Because Harley, that's what they do. They don't like the information, and so they attack. When you get woken up for what, Tim? Because Mary, L, and Clark are going to say the same thing, that I'm not a doctor, I don't have the right to give this advice, etc., etc., etc. But there are several doctors, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, EMS personnel that follow me that love my content. So obviously I'm doing something right. When people get out of hand, I will block them. If they're just giving their opinion, everyone is entitled to their opinion. And you can't be on social media and not learn to have thick skin. And at least they're judging me for my content and what I'm saying, and not sexually assaulting me or harassing me. Tim, what time are you waking up? Thank you, North Star Angel. Sean, even more interesting, look at the data out of Israel. The Israeli Ministry of Health published something, I think it was 3 weeks ago, talking about the increase in severity of symptoms. Not only that, but also the increase in comorbidities developing in children that have never happened before, like heart disease in children as long as age 6. Like we've missed a lot of things here because they've been pushed out under the rug. And I think it's really interesting to me that we originally were reporting all the data out of Israel, and now we won't even mention them in a news clip. So how did we go from we want all their data because 78% of the population there is vaccinated to, oh, we can't talk about that because something's going wrong. It just doesn't make sense. And then the commercials normalizing heart attacks in 6-year-olds, that just, I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. You will not brainwash me into thinking it's normal to think a 6-year-old should have a heart attack because they went for a jog at recess. It's not normal. Maybe I'm not smart. So, again, teaching a class next week on cardiometabolic health and how we can start improving our cardiometabolic health, improving our metabolism, improving our gut health, improving the way that we view not only ourselves, but the way we view our relationship with food. And really working on changing that for ourselves so that we can improve our health overall and maybe not need the medicines that are pushed on us daily. You do need to register for that class. That link is in my profile. And North Star Angel, my opinion on glycemic index of food, the research on it is pretty darn good. It's sometimes taken out of context though. So the glycemic index and the glycemic load should both be looked at. So if you look at, I want to say it's like 100 grams of watermelon versus 100 grams of a banana. Watermelon has a higher glycemic index, but then if you look at a typical serving size, the glycemic load of watermelon is like 1/10 of what a banana is. Tim, what time of night are you waking up? That will tell me more. I did not see that study released today. Yeah, so bananas at different stages have different benefits. So green bananas are a great probiotic when they are like that nice yellow color and still firm, but not too firm and green and not too soft and brown. They are, hey Sean, how are you? They are great at helping you absorb vitamins and minerals. And when they get to that brown stage, they actually have more antioxidants in them and are more cancer fighting. Can cysteine pellets for women for bioidentical hormone replacement? I personally have done them. I think that they work well. A lot of people say that they're barbaric. What I think is barbaric is letting a woman have a testosterone of 4 and telling her there's nothing wrong with her. Good to see you, Sean. Oh, freeze-dried mangoes. I can't buy those. They last less than a day in this house. Okay, nice one. How is GABA? So GABA is an amino acid and a neurotransmitter. It could be a histamine reaction, psychic delight. So your body should produce GABA on its own. There are people who are GABA deficient, and GABA can sometimes help with sleep. GABA, because it's a neurotransmitter, affects brain chemistry a ton. It is super, super, super addictive. And when people start trying to come off of it, they have psychosis if they just stop taking it. Via the cardiometabolic stuff that we're talking about next week. It's not a medicine, by the way. I, as a person who knows about the side effects of GABA, would not take it for sleep. If I were going to take something for sleep, it would be something like 5-HTP or which ends up being a precursor for melatonin. It could be. I wouldn't take GABA unless you get tested and know that you are deficient. I would not take it. Because people coming off of it, like psychosis, dementia, Alzheimer's, it's bad. Don't play with that one. 5-HTP. 5-HTP, kava, those are good things that you could take to help with sleep. In very rare occasions, you could take melatonin. And a lot of people, 5-HTP makes you hyper. Wow. Do you potentially have ADD? Because 5-HTP is also given in a natural form to help decrease anxiety. I have had some people use valerian root. And they have had some success. Do I recommend it to people? Valerian root, if taken too often, can build up and become toxic in the system. It is a neurotoxin in the system, and it is something that people can overdose on. Caution with it, but could you use it? Sure. I actually use a blend of lavender and copaiba to help sleep, and it works pretty well. Valerian root, I'm with so many things. I don't understand. Okay. Oh, reacts. It does react with a ton of stuff. And usually they're bad reactions. Yeah, Ray, it's not that you would overdose on melatonin. It's that you don't want to take it every day, because then your body actually stops producing even what it is producing. So you just want to be cautious with melatonin. Like if it's something where you're doing a significant time change and you need to sleep, because you're doing a presentation, or like you have something you have to be at the next day and you're traveling from California to Germany, that's a great time to use melatonin. And you can take it anywhere from 5 to 20 milligrams one time and be okay. Yay, the Texas Daisy loves lavender and copaiba for sleep too. So, Sean, again, a lot of people, and this was like a really common thing, I heard it so much in the early 2000s, that you should take GABA if you have trouble sleeping. But I did a research paper while I was in physical therapy school on GABA, actually. And when I got into the research, I went, oh my God, why are my friends all taking this for sleep? Like, do they understand what's going to happen when they come off this stuff? And interestingly, not a single one of those people who was like, swore by GABA is still married or has a good relationship with their kids. For whatever that's worth. Dandelion is a great liver cleanser. So if you have stuff going on in your liver, it'll help clean that out and help you sleep better. So it's not, I mean, again, you can get tested and see how much GABA you have present. If you have enough, don't take it because it can cause some issues. You could even start with like chamomile tea or chamomile essential oil and see if that helps you for sleep. Someone a while back, I don't know how long ago, asked about heart stuff. I know a little bit about the heart. It is not my area of expertise, but ask a question. I might be able to answer it for you. If I don't, I might know who to send you to. Marcy Sparkles. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that in the last 2 weeks, I have met 7 Marcys, which is so weird. Because I think in my lifetime, I had not met 7 Marcys. And now they're popping up everywhere, and 3 of them spell their name the exact same way I do. Wheezy for money, you need to do an adrenal and a liver cleanse. Thank you. You're welcome, Sean. Nice to meet you too, Marcy Sparkles. And look, you have brown hair too. All the Marcys I've met also have brown hair. Like, it's really weird. I mean, it's not that weird because there are more brunettes than there are blondes on this planet. Good night, Wendy. Good luck tomorrow. I hope your day goes smoother. Jacob, intermittent fasting has so many benefits. I can't even explain it all in one minute. For Lenny, the daughter that has the seizure syndrome, that's an indication like where something like melatonin would be needed because her brain isn't doing it correctly. Like her brain isn't processing it correctly. Probably because he's looking at your heart, not at your adrenal glands. Other causes, so erratic heartbeats, what's causing them? Thanks, Wendy. Adrenal glands, dysbiosis in the gut can cause it. Food allergy can cause it. Stress on the GI system where your food can't digest the food can cause your heart rate to change rapidly. Medications can cause your heart rate to be all over the place. Okay, Sean, good. So it's not always about the heart, and that's what I think people miss. Hoopty, the minimum amount of time you have to fast is 12 hours. Everyone should be fasting for at least 12 hours every day. Why? Because the hormones that control hunger and satiety, or your ability to feel full and satisfied, run on a 12-hour cycle. If you eat outside, like say you eat something at 8 a.m. and then you eat something at 8:10, you start that cycle again. And what happens is you get a poor insulin reaction. Your body starts storing stuff as fat. You'll wake up in the middle of the night hungry. You'll start having insulin resistance and what we call reactive hypoglycemia. So everyone should fast for a minimum of 12 hours. Even my patients that have diabetes fast for 12 hours. Ideally, you would fast for 14 to 16. However, when fasting, if you are in a state of adrenal stress, you shouldn't fast longer than 14. So Jacob, is 16 and 8 bad? I don't know, because I don't know what's going on with your health. Somewhere between 16 and 14 hours of fasting is good for most people. I do have friends who will once a quarter do a 5-day fast. And fasting times, so time of day that you should fast. All the research on longevity So cardiovascular improvements, improvements in blood pressure, improvements in cholesterol, improvements in resting heart rate, improvements in resting breathing rate, improvements in inflammation, and lower insulin resistance or risk for diabetes. You should fast in the evening. So ideally, you would eat your first meal at 8 a.m. and stop eating by 4 p.m. If you're somebody who gets up earlier than that and you wake up hungry, you would eat, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. kind of thing. Another way to help you in fasting is that you shouldn't have coffee until you've been awake for 2 hours and had at least 40 ounces of water. Yeah, so Sean, that's what I'm saying. Like if you eat like 8 to 4 or 6 to 2, that is your best results. You will maintain the best body weight and the longest health. Because your body is not spending the time sleeping, digesting. It's spending that time actually doing repair work. So you're done digesting your meals before you go to bed. You also typically then are able to have a bowel movement before you go to bed, which means that your colon is clean, which means that your body can put new stuff in the colon to be evacuated the next morning. If you're going to fast, if you're anyone on this live, you should be pooping at least twice a day. The ideal transit time through the GI system, which starts at your mouth and ends at the rectum, is 14 hours. A fast digester is going to digest in 12, a slow digester in 16. If you are not digesting your food in 12 to 16 hours, we've got a GI issue that needs to be addressed. So if you eat at 6 a.m. or you eat at 8 a.m., you should have bowel movement somewhere between 6 and 10 p.m., right? Because that's 12 to 14 hours. And then if you eat a meal at 4 p.m., you should need to have a bowel movement when you get up in the morning. Your mouth health is so important for your gut health. I can't even tell you. What is my opinion on Juice Plus? It works for a lot of people. We did it for 3 years. It didn't help my kids not get sick. They got everything. I even had a kid with pneumonia twice while on Juice Plus. Band with Bandit. That's a funny joke on pooping. One way to improve the health of your teeth, guys, and it's simple: nasal breathing. Don't breathe through your mouth. How fast should you fast? 16 and 8 or 14 and 12? Is that what you're asking? Or 14 and 10, sorry, or 12 and 12? 12 and 12 should be daily. You should not eat outside a 12-hour window. Like, you should fast every day for a minimum of 12 hours. If you're trying to extend it, you can do 14 and 10 and 16 and 8 for prolonged periods, months. Tim, I need to know what time you're waking up. It's important. I can't answer your question unless you answer mine. And then I have friends that once a quarter will do a 5-day fast. So a sauna can be helpful with sleep. Dry brushing can be helpful with sleep. Bandwidth Bandit, you're in bed. It's 10:34 p.m. So obviously you're on the East Coast, and this is on my For You page. You have Crohn's. So yeah, there's some work to do there on your gut health that can help. I'm sorry that you don't have good work hours, Jake. So there are times of the night where different organ systems are detoxing, Tim, and this is why I'm asking this question. 3 to 4. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. If you're waking up consistently between 3 and 4 a.m., it's either the end of your liver's detoxing or the beginning of your kidney detoxing. The fact that you can't get back to sleep tells me that it's probably more likely the kidney needing a detox. And so you would be somebody that would benefit from doing a flush for potential small kidney stones that aren't really affecting you yet. Also, you might not be hydrated enough and you're eating something that's an irritant to your kidneys. So the reason you can't get back to sleep is because something in your diet is going wrong or something in your kidney health is going wrong. Well, Jake, let's try and get that closer to 7, okay? What's hard to do, truck dude? You're welcome. They do have an inverse relationship. So cortisol and melatonin have an inverse relationship, and cortisol and testosterone have an inverse relationship. Sean, I don't know enough about that. I haven't gotten into, I am doing a program on restoring kidney health. And I'm at the very beginning of it. The nutrition stuff, you can say it's hard. That's you telling yourself it's hard and then making it hard. And you can disagree with me. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, but here's the deal. In our lives, we give ourselves opportunities to fail every single day. It's hard to work out every day. No, it's not. You're telling yourself it's hard, and so then your brain says, oh yeah, it's too hard for us. We're not doing that. It's hard to maintain healthy nutrition. No, it's not. You told your brain it's hard, and so it's hard. It's hard to fast. I am a person who suffered with reactive hypoglycemia for over 40 years, and I solved that issue last year. I no longer have that. What I want you to do is take those words out of your language. Hey, Fred, how are you? What I want you to do is focus on a win. So I am successful every time I go to the gym or eat something healthy or drink water. Okay, you're driving a truck. Fred, how's my program driving a truck? He's on here. He drives a truck. He's lost a lot of weight. He's control of his diabetes. He's doing great. Ask him, truck dude. My program's great. It works easy. It's not hard. Right, Fred? We choose to make it hard. Instead of saying it's too hard to do this or it's too hard to do that, we need to say, I'm successful anytime I finish the sentence, add an or, finish that next thought, or finish that next thought, or I'm successful anytime I drink 80 ounces of water a day, or choose to eat a healthy meal at lunch, or choose to eat a healthy meal at dinner, or go for a walk, or chat with my son, or take my kid to swim practice, or take my kid to lacrosse practice, or have a conversation with my husband, or complete my live for the week on TikTok, or I'm giving myself all kinds of chances to be successful. What you didn't hear me say is it's hard to go to the gym every day, because it's not. It's a choice you make. And Fred had to make some choices, right? He had to choose to go for a 20-minute walk every day instead of sitting in his truck. That was his exercise. He has some hand weights in his truck. He did exercises. I actually just took a class tonight on flushing gallbladder and liver. It's interesting. And also sounds miserable, but I'm going to try it and tell you guys how it goes. The carnivore diet, Jake, I think it's, for some people, a great plan. It is not a plan that should be maintained for a lifetime. Apoptosis is cell death. Nope. You form the thought, Gannicus. You tell yourself what you want in this life. You tell yourself what is easy and what is hard, and you make it either easy or hard. All right, guys, I've got kiddos to get to bed, and myself, because I've got to be up at 4 so that I can go to the gym. But if you haven't registered yet, there is a class next week on Wednesday night, cardiometabolic health. And the link to register for that class, you do need to register. It will be a Zoom class because there are handouts that I want you to have and slides that I want you to be able to look at. That registration link is in my profile. It is the top link. Yay, Fred's registered. So it's a lot of information about lifestyle and also some really great products. I think you're going to enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good night.